Wow, I'm all low resolution. Good evening, everyone, and fellow travelers on spaceship Earth. I'm gonna get us some music, but boy, I am really low res. Look at me being all low res. I'm all like, hey there, how you doing tonight? All right, I'm gonna open the door a little bit here. It is nice and cool outside. It's actually a relatively cool Colorado after evening. Howdy, Art Crumbs. You can join me if you want. When you are ready. In the meantime, I'm going to sit here and just watch how very low resolution I am. I'm super low resolution. And we've got to spin up Photoshop. Yeah. Well, I guess I will try to see if I can make this fit. Here's where we hit that point. The weird point where now it doesn't fit because this isn't quite Star Trek. So now I've got to figure out, what am I doing? What's the story here? How am I going to make this work? Whole piece here, and then I'm going to move it above the actual pages so that I can cut the pages up. No, not quite yet. Almost got it there. Almost. Still not broadcasting up there. That looks more promising.
I'm gonna try.
There we go. Look at you actually being here. Like a normal
Right?
person.
You mean a streamer who's supposed to be streaming?
Stream, a little stream of us.
So I didn't know that if you're downloading something from the cloud, you can't open Clip Studio. That's why my screen's black. Is I'm waiting for my download to finish. I have tried downloading this thing like 4 times. In fact, I had to like re-upload it. And I think it's finally working this time. Because I was working on my Samsung earlier today.
Right.
And I thought, oh crap, I can't stream from my Samsung. So I have to move it over to my PC. And it keeps saying, download failed, download failed, download failed. No! So I went ahead and figured maybe there was something weird happened with the upload. So I re-uploaded it. And it looks like it's working, it's almost done. And when I try to like click on, you know, like paint, it's not letting me open it. It's like grayed out. It's really weird. 90s. It's almost done. I would laugh if it would be one of those things where it's like 97% failed. Or it like goes backwards.
Right. You're like, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, it's done! Yay! Successfully downloaded! Yay! Alright, close that. I should be able to open it now. Okay. I'm working on pages. Open. You gonna cooperate now there, buddy? I don't need this window open. I don't need this window open. Didn't realize I had so many windows open.
Yeah, right?
I had like 4 windows open with like a dozen tabs. I don't know how that happens, but it happens. Alright. Yay! It's working! Yay!
Now you're back on. Now we're back on.
That was way too hard. I've been working on doing like roughs for pages. So I've got my new cover. Yay! And then I'm gonna have like a tape. This will be the full, like, I'm just planning for the full volume version. So I've been working on like sketches for new pages based on like the new script that I have. And these are just roughs. Like, what is the basic pose that I want? And like, where do I want things? This is the first draft of stuff. So it's very ugly, but it's okay. Yes. It is what it is. Also, I find it harder to do like really clean. It's the upside. I find it harder to do rough sketches on my Samsung. For whatever reason, like, I don't know why, but I find it harder to sketch on my Samsung. I can do like nice, clean work, but when I try to sketch on my Samsung, it just never comes out right. I don't know if it's like a mental block thing. I can do clean work on it. In fact, a lot of chapter 2 was done on my Samsung.
Right.
But when I sketch, I just feel more free to sketch on my Cintiq than I do on my Samsung. So that's why I'm like trying to do these layouts on my Samsung so I can like get over it. Just exposure therapy, basically.
Right.
What are you working on? Your lettering still?
Yeah, I had a story that was a Tamerlan story, and it was called The Last Night of the Year. And it's about my main character's child. And I realized I could almost 1-to-1 transfer the story over and just draw it up real quick. You know what I mean? Like, and make it part of Bellatrix Rising, because it wasn't. The only problem that I'm having right now is that in the Star Trek universe version of this, the main character was married to a Vulcan, and the disease that killed the kid was because the Vulcan and human organs didn't work well together. So I had to change that, but one of the things that's happening with my character in Bellatrix Rising is that she was genetically modified. So now I have changed it so that because she was modified, the DNA that she handed down was corrupted effectively, which caused the girl to die. So that the same thing still happened.
Rip our hearts out! How dare you?
I know. Well, but this is part of the what do you call this? This is part of Chang's whatever, the character, part of her character is she lost her kid. And I mean, that's part of why she sort of spun out for many years, and why she's sort of still, even though she has advanced far enough that she should be piloting or captaining a much larger spacecraft, she's not. She's stuck with this little team Corvette, is because she hasn't been doing very good since her kid died. And so this is part of her
character development. It's part of her growth, her character development.
Yeah, it's part of her character development, part of her growth. But it's also, there's a word that I'm missing here. I keep wanting to say Zeitgeist. It's not. It's part of her. The thing where your character, the building characters, the building pieces of your character, they're
the lore, character, background, character. I just would have used development. I mean, that seems like a pretty clear, easy term.
Yeah, but there's a specific word, and I can't think of it because it's a word that we use for something else, and so my brain won't let me have it. Yeah, it's like, it's like,
brain, you're too good at your job. Stop it.
Yeah, right. The brain's like, I can't give you this word because it's not good. I'll think of it. It's all good. I'll get there. Anyway, it's part of who she is as a character. I'll because now it's going to drive me crazy if I don't look it up. Brainstorming a wound in your character's backstory. Kind of cool. I'll see it and I'll be like, that's such a, I can't believe I had to fight this hard to find this. It's like, I can't believe it's so difficult.
Brain malfunctioning.
Right? Brain not letting me have the word. It's a very important word.
Why can't we all just be like Data and make it easy?
Yeah. Well, there's a specific word for this, and I can't think of it right now, which is sort of the...
I didn't realize that there was a word for specifically wounding your character.
Well, not specifically wounding, but just part of the backstory pieces. It's like maybe I'll just get back to working, and then I'll think of it all of a sudden randomly during the show.
Yeah. You'll be like, oh, I remember that
Right.
thing. Thanks, brain.
Yeah.
It's okay. I suddenly forgot how perspective worked tonight while I was sketching.
I kind of want to also, when I'm doing some of this, play with Blender and look at some of the ways of mapping in Blender or mapping in Clip, because I kind of like the idea of leaving Daz Studio after a while here.
Yeah.
I have this feeling that Daz Studio isn't going to stay with me forever. Not only that, I mean, legitimately, I use Daz Studio for exactly one thing, and that's pre-posing these. Well, I could pre-pose in this using the maquettes. The only problem is I can't figure out how to put a texture map on the maquettes. So that's making it difficult, because of course there's no way to do that. But you can add objects with bones into it. So I was like, well, maybe I could make my own maquette, but that's really kind of a task, you know? That's kind of wild. So anyway, these are all the things that I'm pondering. My sister comes in tomorrow, by the way. That's kind of cool.
Nice. Get
My
some
sister
family
is
together.
visiting from Texas, so that'll be fun. You asked a question, I was talking right over you.
I don't even remember what it was.
Okay. It's critical, probably, then. It always
No,
is.
it's not.
Always critical if you can't remember what it is. It's totally critical. It's like a game changer.
Probably just my brain going, you should be working on your character concept art and defining what your characters actually look like instead of drawing your pages. But I'm procrastinating on doing my character designs because I hate doing them. So I'm like, hey, brain, let's do pages instead.
Right? Yeah.
I'm like, that's a perfect idea. Perfect distraction. But see, and here's why it's perfect. Because I can still be productive even while I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. It's the perfect excuse for my procrastination brain. I'm also waiting for Viz to get back to me, and they haven't gotten back to me yet, and it's been a week, and now I'm scared.
Hey, Alfie, bye, Alfie. Guess we only see Alfie
Bye.
for a moment.
Oh, I forgot to tell people I'm streaming. I hate when I forget to tell people I'm streaming. I'm so bad about that. Like, I forget to share out my own links. I called myself Cat. See, even I'm not used to it yet.
Yep. Is it okay for me to call you Jackson now?
Yeah.
Are we there? Good.
Yep.
I mean, we were
is.
kind of doing that, but you didn't respond, and I was like, maybe I don't
Oh,
want
really? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize I wasn't even responding. I was probably distracted or something.
As long
fell
as
asleep.
you wish us to call you, we shall call you Jackson.
Yeah, I put it out over Twitter over the weekend.
Yeah. That's why we started it, was because we saw that.
Yeah. I'm not sure about putting it on Facebook. I know you stream these to Facebook, but I'm not sure, like, as far as, like, me making an announcement, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
It's all good.
It's because, like, I know my mom looks at it, and I really don't want to deal with her. Meow! Miso, my goodness! She's like, I know what you're doing, Mom. I know what you're doing. And I must make myself known. As soon as I pick you up, you start purring. You're like a toddler running around screaming up. Just silly cat. Such a silly cat. Don't you blip at me. I said you're a silly cat, and I don't know if she went to try to lick, but she stuck her tongue out. And it just got stuck there. Looks like she's sticking her tongue out at me. You silly girl. Boop. I booped the blip. Boop. Get your ass away from my microphone, please. You know the deal. Go ahead and sit. Okay. What was the next panel? Let's see. Oh, he just vanishes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way I have the new first chapter structured is pretty different. Mm-hmm. It's only going to be 20 pages versus the old one, which was 47. The chapter cover will probably still be the same, even though it will be updated with his new design. And this cover has to be updated with the new design as well, which thankfully isn't a lot of changes.
Right.
But instead of starting with, I don't even remember how the initial first chapter started. Wow, Cats, you know your story so well.
Yeah, I have that problem all the time. I'm like, what am I doing here?
I've gone through it so many times that I don't even remember anymore. Like, it's like you almost become numb to it after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it starts with Morty that other Miape coming down. Instead, it starts with the main feedback that I got was people didn't know that Aris was the main character. And so what I've done is a chapter dedicated to just him and what his goals are. So that those are very clearly set. As far as he's a good / bad guy. He plays both sides. So that starts out with a hunter confronting him, being like, "You're not doing your job," blah 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 blah. And Aros is like, the hunter's like, "You're not doing your job. You're supposed to be killing Miape." And Aros is like, "It's not that simple," because he's a Miape too. So, but he can't tell him that. And the man is like, it is simple. And then Aros is like, you see those little birds that are on fire? That tells us that a Miape is nearby. But later on, we'll find out that those are actually because Aros is standing right there. All Miape will have these little birds and nearby. Just they kind of follow them around and pick off the stuff that they don't eat. Sort of like Remora.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I was initially going to do, a full body drawing of Rin, but I decided I'm going to do, a blackout panel with maybe just, some really strong highlights to suggest some of her features.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh, she's a top soul collector. You think you can compete with her? And the hunter's like, I'm not afraid of her. So he leaves. And then Aros is like, all right. He basically says, it's your funeral. Saying, all right, I'll get your funeral pyre ready for you. Because he ultimately knows what's going to happen to this man. He knows this man isn't going to make it. And he knows that. Either it's going to be him or it's going to be Rin. So he already knows. But I don't want the reader to know that. I want this to be like a chapter where, like, after they read the chapter, they can go back, and now that they know how it ends, they read it completely differently. So, just that first chapter. I figured, you know what, this is a really good way to practice doing that, but put it in just a chapter. So I want the reader to go through reading this for the first time and think, oh, like, Aros is just save him. And of course, that's not what happens. So, I figured it would be fun. Misa, your tail is knocking everything off. So we're at he you know, like, feels like that cold wind that, like, a Miyabe is nearby, and he looks up. Rin is, like, right there, and she's taunting him. He looks up at her, and then she vanishes, and she's like, hurry, hurry, and then Aros leaves. And then it will basically, like, go to the hunter he's walking through, and then, well, of course, like, more of those, like, birds and sparrows, like, appear, spooking him, and through a series of really suspicious events, he ends up getting cornered by Rin, who you know, like, is helping Aros basically, like, pin him or whatever. Aros isn't the best. He really doesn't like hurting people, so he kind of tries to get out of it when he can, because he needs to settle the debt that he owes, which he foolishly didn't set a specific amount on. Dummy. So yeah, I thought it would just be kind of a fun way to, like, set up the first chapter better.
No, I think it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was kind of the feedback that I got. I also hope it'll set the tone for the story, that this isn't necessarily like a good guy story. This is a, oh, what the heck? What did he do? And because I have the hunter die in such an awful way, I want this to be, oh, this is one of those stories. Like, I want that to be the realization here. Keep forgetting in this version I can have multiple panels open, or multiple pages open. And so Clip Studio, they have, for the tablets, they have a simple version, and I actually like it. I like the simple version. The one downside, if you decide to ever use it though, the downside is you have to re-import all of your custom brushes and your models. So everything I've already imported into the tablet version of Clip Studio that I have, if I decide to turn on the simple version, I have to re-import my brushes. The good part though is you can import from they call, like, the regular version, like this version that I have here, they call it Studio version. If for example, like, say I want one of my brushes here, I can just go to import, or, like, I can go to the brush tool and then, like, import from Studio version. So I don't have to, like, manually go find everything. I just have to tell it, oh, hey, from my original version, I want this. But it's nice because I have, like, a simple version to use with just the bare minimum versus having all of these windows open. So it's kind of nice, actually.
Oh, man.
So I like it. Some people are complaining about it, but I like it. Like, it's too simple.
My biggest problem is I still haven't heard an answer on what do I do when it finally stops letting me log out of one and log into the other one.
It'll lock it so that whichever device it's on is the one that'll be stuck on.
Yeah, but, like, I have a perpetual license.
I don't think that matters.
Yeah, that's what I want them to say openly somewhere, they won't.
Yeah, they won't.
They keep dodging the question. They want them to say it openly so that I know that what they really want. Because I don't want to buy 2 copies, especially at full price, to find out that, oh, no, you didn't need to do that. All you need to do is click this one thing and it would have, it would have worked or whatever. But
Yeah, I haven't found anyone that's been able to get around it yet.
well, I mean, so far it still lets me click in and click out. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean like a limit on the like a defined number on how many times you can transfer stuff over. I've not found anyone that's like found a limit yet.
Right.
Freaking love lemon water. Oh my gosh. I found this Minute Maid stuff. It's like liquid. You just add it to your water. And it's like really good. Usually people like throw in a lemon. I'm like, that's not enough. I need like half. I need like a whole lemon's worth of juice in my lemon or in my water. So it's really nice actually. Alright, so... Oh, yeah, I now remember why I opened this. I want the same perspective. So I want to echo it. Guy, you actually might be able to answer this. Oh, hi, Merrick.
Maybe.
I just realized you might have an answer. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm working on like doing research on how manga is distributed in Japan, that's made by publishers, not indie creators.
Right.
So I'm wondering, what knowledge do you have on like how manga is distributed in Japan, as far as manga that's made by publishers? Like, how much information do you have on that? I know you've not been in Japan for a while, but I know you're more familiar with that in general than I am.
Well, the publishers are a big deal. I know that you will find manga alphabetically in stores by the publisher, which is super aggravating.
Because it's not by alphabet as far as title?
Right. It's not alphabetical by author or title. It's by publisher. So all of your kodansha will be in the same place, followed by, then once...
But that's how comics are done, right? Isn't that how comics are done?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, is like you'll find them in the bookstore by publisher, as opposed to by name or by title. I know that generally speaking, but not always, manga starts with the jumps, like the Shonen Jump and stuff like that. It's not a given that that'll be that way, but that's generally how it starts. Because then because there are these big telephone book thick sort of things where they've just got 16 pages from like 100 different manga in there, and they're all different colors. So they'll color the pages in different colors. Like you'll get a green set, 16 green pages followed by 16 pink pages, 16 yellow pages, and stuff like that. So that way you can just flip through and get to the one you want to read. Once you've gotten 300 pages, they'll make a tankobon. For reasons that still escape me, the tankobon are always 300 pages. It's something to do with publishing of some sort, but that's why you get all those extra pages called omake.
I thought they were 200 pages here.
They're 300. And it's something to do with the printing process. But also, I know that, and that's the same weird thing happens with novels. You'll get a novel which has effectively an up and a down. If you have more than 300 pages in your novel, like Harry Potter, all of the Harry Potter novels are there. There's 7 Harry Potter novels. There are 14 of them in Japan because they were over 300 pages. They're split.
Oh, that's weird.
And Deathly Hallows has a up and a middle and a down, which is even weirder. So it's got 3 different books to whatever end.
Oh wow.
So for example, here's the Dirty Pair novel. Right, so this is a novelization of Dirty Pair. Actually, I'm in the wrong doodly wop, aren't I? I need to go over here and do this. So yeah, here's the novelization of Dirty Pair, right? So the novel here, this one is this one's one story, so it doesn't have an up or a down. It just is what it is. But yeah, you get through here, and then the pages, of course, are like this. But yeah, so it's right at 300 and something. So whatever is the story, but I mean, like, the last page here is 317 pages. So that's the end of the story here. And you won't focus. It's fine.
Interesting.
But yeah.
I'm still getting used to reading vertically like that. It still messes with me a little bit.
So that's just something I have observed is they're all the same length. And I think what they really do is if there's a certain amount of overage, then they'll do a certain, they'll go over for a little bit. But there is something very specific about 300 pages. Because the Macross, here's the Macross manga.
That's fascinating. I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah. It's weird too.
Well, are the deluxe books an English only thing? Like the deluxe manga? Or is that like a special case?
The deluxe? Oh, that's a special case.
Okay, so those are unusual cases then. Like with the Vinland Saga and Berserk, they're getting the deluxe edition.
Right. Those have already gone through 2 different waves of this. So,
those are special cases then. Okay.
Yeah, they're very, very special cases. I'm trying to find a page. Going back here, I'm like, how many pages back do I have to go before it?
And I'm doing good, Merrick. Well, I'm doing pretty good. To answer your question.
You may actually be right about 200 pages.
Yeah, because the versions that I have of some of my books are barely over 200, or they're like 217, maybe 230. Because aren't they usually like whatever 10 chapters is? So that would be about 200 pages.
Yeah, because this is about 200. So, locked down on that. I mean, whatever it is, it's very weirdly specific.
Maybe like 300 is like the max that they would do.
300 is the max or something.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Or it's 300 is the Tankobon novels.
Is it the binding process? Because that would make sense from the way that they used to bind books back in the day. That would make sense.
Yeah.
The binding process.
Well, plausibly, there's a very strict code to the way that they do. I mean, like it's very important that you make your manga in 16-page units and yada 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 until you become sort of the Bill Watterson of manga, because like this is not a limitation that they put onto Rumiko anymore, right? So like she doesn't have to do that. But if you look at let's see if I can find stuff here as an example. Like when you go back far enough, I have Udasi Yatsuna somewhere. I just don't know where it went. It's not back here, which it should be, but it's not.
I'd be curious to grab some of the Viz originals and see what limits they put on them. Yeah,
because like Rumiko had to start with that, but then she didn't have to keep going with it. At some point in time, she becomes big enough that all she has to do is threaten to not draw for a week, and brings the entire manga industry down.
Yeah, some of her Inuyasha chapters were almost 30 pages.
Yeah, and the American versions of these seem to match 1-to-1. Because this is about 200 pages right here.
Cool.
In fact, almost
straight.
Suddenly
I wonder if the American versions were shorter. Are we not getting the same volume ones?
I mean, we all know that we have to do everything in 4-ups, right? So you have to do them in 4-page units, divisible by 4. That's a thing. That's definitely on our list of whatever's. So, I mean, I guess I don't know if that answered any of your questions.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. The reason why I'm asking is we're possibly looking at doing some in-person research and trying to get as much research and done in advance.
Right.
So that way we can have a general set of expectations and looking up like what bookstores, we should go to and all that good stuff.
Yeah, if you want to get the jumps, you'll find those at Combini's.
Combini's. I heard Animate's really good. And whatever, like there's Animate. Like Animate is like more recent stuff, and then there's another version that's more like older, not like second. It's more of a secondhand bookstore.
Oh yeah,
and of course Kinokuniya. And
well,
then,
if
like,
you're going to go there, there's a place called Book Off, which
that's
miracle.
That's one of the ones on my list.
I usually got everything, and they were really cheap. Usually 100 yen for a book, so $1.
That's what it says. Like that's on the list. It looks really good, I think.
Yeah, Book Off is where I usually went. So if you're looking to get used stuff, but you're not going to find things like the jumps. And I think if you really want to explore the concept of it, you should at least purchase one jump, just so that you have sort of an idea.
But they still physically print them. I thought they stopped the physical printing.
Maybe they did. I mean, it's been 15 years. Who knows?
I'll have to look into it, yeah. Yeah, because I personally would love to go so that I could just see, like what we're actually dealing with and like what their actual needs are, so that like as a community person I can help them better.
Yeah.
And anticipate like what they actually need and be able to be there and support those creators as they come onto the platform. But there's a real possibility like I may get to go in person. So I want to be sure like, hey, like what would be the best use of my time?
Right.
I also might see if I could get to go to Comiket, maybe. I'm not sure if that would be good because that's mostly indie focused. The winter market, I mean.
Well, Comiket, yes, but it also is really very much in our, whatever you want to call it, our field or. I mean, I guess it.
I think more something like Tokyo Comic Con or Osaka Comic Con would be more aligned with like general publisher stuff. There's also the probability I'll have an interpreter with me, so I have to think about bringing another person. Oh, this person's only going to manga stores. How weird! Bookstores? What a weeb!
I would, since you are a comic artist coming from America, that actually seems like that would be my first thought that you'd want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't.
Yeah. I just would feel bad for the interpreter being like, oh my god, I have to watch over a weeb.
Oh, that'd be like you coming over from Japan because you're a cosplayer and me taking you, and then going, how weird, she wants me to take her to a convention, or
Oh, true, yeah. I guess I would feel embarrassed.
It's not a matter of weeb, that's your job.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not otaku in the bad sense, I promise.
Yeah, you're overthinking.
I'm just doing my
you're
job.
really overthinking it.
Who knows? Maybe I'll get someone who's also into it, and we can go be nerds together.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's
that
all
would be
good.
Dope. That would. Yeah. I just submitted my passport over the week last week, so hopefully it'll get back in time. It's saying 12 weeks at the moment.
It always does.
And I did yeah. That's what I was about to say. That's what I said last time.
That's what it said in 2006 when I did it.
Oof. I've heard it's actually more I've heard it's actually closer to 5 months unusually. I'm hoping it's not that long to go in December.
Yeah, I mean, when I did my passport, they said, make sure you have 6 months worth of lead time so you don't screw it all up, And it came back in I think it took 5 weeks or something like that, but it wasn't that long.
Oh, good. I feel so much better then.
Yeah, but I mean, so I mean, it's I don't know. Depends.
Yeah, the reason why I was nervous is I was afraid everyone would be applying with holiday travel coming up.
Yeah.
So that's why I got a little bit worried, but I was like, okay, let's just get it done while you have the days off. My passport photo is not flattering at all.
No one is.
With my bright orange hair.
No one is.
They're gonna look at me because my hair's not gonna be the same color by then. They're gonna be like, "Is this you?" Yeah.
My passport's still valid.
Huh. I think it's 10 years.
Yeah, it is. But I went to Europe in 2018 to visit my sister, and I re-upped my passport there. And I was just now realizing, my passport's still valid because it hasn't been it's not 2028 yet. I'm like, we're not bad. That's just me going, hey, look, I didn't mess it up terribly. Look at me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought mine expired this year. So I was planning on doing it earlier this year. Nope, it expired last year.
Yep.
So I can't. Right? Can't have nice things. Uh-oh, here comes a raid. Ruh-roh.
Here comes a raid. Well, we're both working on comics at least this point, which is nice.
Look at us actually getting stuff done.
Right? Oh, I'm not actually switched over to my monitor though. I'm doing comic book stuff, but you can't see it. Oh, boy.
No comic for you.
So, Merrick, how do you know that there's a raid coming? What does it say to you?
On Twitch, it'll tell you.
Well, by what? Does it just say incoming raid or?
Yeah, it says so-and-so is raiding with a party of blah, blah, blah. And then it tells you, how many people. Usually.
That's cool.
I think it's on Cayenne Switch.
Oh, yeah. Well, so, hi, Onyx. The reason why we don't see it is because we're using a restreamer. So we're on a website which takes the video that we're recording and then broadcasts it back out to Twitch. So we can see what you say on Twitch and we can talk, obviously, to Twitch, but we can't see things like Twitch's instructions or indications. They don't show up. So that's why we're wondering what does it say? Because our restreamer doesn't show it.
Yeah, it doesn't show the actual.
It shows what you see on screen there, but you'll notice that things like Little Mango Art is coming in from YouTube, and Onyx, you're coming in from Twitch, and you can still see each other's things, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have multiple channels. I think we have, gosh, how many channels we have going out to? 12, I think.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's on 11.
11, yeah. Yep, it goes out to my YouTube channel and Guy's YouTube channel, Cayenne's Twitch, Guy's Twitch, like all kinds of good
It
places.
goes all over the place.
Yeah, it's pretty nifty.
It is. So that allows us to do our work, and you can just watch both of us, and you can be in whatever zone you're from, you know.
Yep, and since all of us are kind of part of this group, we just kind of stream together. It's called body doubling, and we find that we're more productive when we work together. We see other people working, we want to work, and so we kind of all work together to get our work done, and it keeps us more efficient.
Yep. Oh yeah, some extra Fallen's rig work. So you were working in 3D,
Nice.
right? You were either working on 3D or you were rigging an avatar. Wow, which both are cool. That's my guess. This is my guess. Oh, L2D. Okay. Excellent. I have to admit, this rewrite is making for a slightly different feel on things. It's kind of interesting. There we go.
You know, kind of environment I want here.
Okay. You can lurk. We'll still be here.
Lurk is good. Oh, you were drawing your mascot? Nice. How did it go? I know you've been working on some more pages, Mango.
Cool.
Are you working on anything now, Mango?
Commissions.
Nice, nice. Sorry, I was looking up what type of soil banana trees like.
Up there goes another rubber tree.
Suddenly realized that I didn't know where, like, I knew where banana trees grow, but I didn't know, like, what type of, like, biome banana trees grow in.
Right.
I figured they were jungles, but I'm like, ooh, what kind of jungle? Because there's a lot of different kinds. Oh, Tamagotchis, yeah, I saw you make a post about those. How to deer. That was not a deer. Oh my Lanta. Suddenly forgot what a deer looked like. I love it when I have to draw things I haven't drawn in a while. My brain is like, how does this thing look again? Would a deer eat banana leaves? I have zero idea, but in my world they do.
Sure. Sounds like a thing. I'm certainly not going to naysay it.
Right?
Damn. Oh.
I'm just gonna write deer eating banana leaf so that I know what it's supposed to be. Deer eat banana. Banana tree. And I'll work it out later. I know what I'm trying to have it do. Have to establish the scene, you guys. We know where the person is. Maybe we'll have another deer nomming on this one. He's having a grand old time there, eating stuff that he probably shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Who knows? Deers like bananas. We'll use this for the time of day. Miso.
Miso's so aggressive all of a sudden.
Yeah. What are you doing, Miso? I said her name and she snapped her face to look at me and was like,
Mm-hmm.
What are you chasing, Miso? Is it a bug? Did you get it? She's suddenly very interested by something outside. You know that look.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cats are so silly. I'm sweet. I'm adorable. I'm a killer. I'm a hunter. Let's see. Oh man, I had this person, yesterday actually, talking to me about my drawing skills. Which is, I love feedback as much as the next person. I thought they genuinely wanted to offer me good feedback and stuff. And when I started talking to them, they said, "You look like you've only been drawing for 3 years, basically." And I'm like, what? Miso? No, ma'am. No, you're not supposed to be up there. No, ma'am. No. Don't talk to me like that. No. See, that's what I live with? No, ma'am. Good girl. Come here. Good job. Thank you for listening. You get pets. Good girl. Thank you for listening. You get good pets. Yeah? Yeah? Well, I always give you rewards when you listen to me. Anyway. So, it gets funnier. So, they offer me, they tell me, I need to work on, my proportions. That's fair. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, that's good feedback. And then I'm like, well, what would you suggest? And they're like, oh, I suggest the Loomis method. Now, I hate the Loomis method. It just never worked well for me. I do use, some parts of it. And hey, Queenie. What's up, Queenie-chan? Hi. Talking about an amusing encounter that I had in another Discord server yesterday. And they were all like, "Oh, well, like your art is really bad proportions, and you look like you've only been drawing." It's called the Loomis, Loomis. And I learned it in art school, so like I know what it is, but for whatever reason, like I don't really Loomis, Loomis. I don't really like it that much. As far as like, for me, it was too overwhelming. As far as like all this is super teeny tiny little steps, because so I learned animation first, which you would think the Loomis method would work really well for me. For whatever reason, it just didn't click well with me. So I've been learning from and Super Annie. Like I like the way that they approach it a lot better, so I've been starting from them, and that's been helping a lot. I think my figure drawing has gotten a little bit better. And they said, "Oh, it looks like you've only been drawing for like 3 years," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "No, I actually have 2 degrees, blah 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 blah." And their response to me telling them that I have 2 degrees and how long I've been drawing, which is about off and on for, 14 years, really only seriously maybe like the last maybe 3 or 4 years. Their response to that was incredible. If Discord would load, I will tell you what it was. When I stream, Discord just doesn't, it just is not a happy camper when I stream.
Thank you, Queenie Chen. Loomis method. It's the start with a ball method.
Oh yeah. See, I still do the ball. Like I do start with that only so that I
We
can
all
see.
do. I mean, I think that there's
Yeah.
something. I mean, there's something to be said. But I use Bridgman's movable masses. It's a far, far, far better way to use it. But everybody has a thing that works, and you can't just sit there and say that won't work. You
Yeah,
can't just say this doesn't work or that doesn't work, because we are all different people.
Okay, so here's what they said. So they said, "I don't know what to say. Your art, some of your art looks equal to 3 years, or to 3 years. I compare you to just what I see in normal artists, and I see them a lot. I don't want to say that you're lying or doing something different or imagining things, but I'm operating on my experience." They basically insinuated that I'm doing something different or I'm lying and that I'm just average, which is true. I don't think I'm someone crazy exceptional, but like, this person retweets like horny AI art. Okay, like I looked them up. I found their social media. And I'm not to say that that invalidates everything that they say, because like some of their artwork does like actually look really nice. Like I'll give them that credit. Like some of their art does look really nice, but to like the way you approach giving feedback to somebody is not by saying it looks like you've only been drawing for 3 years and you're average. That's not constructive like feedback. Is what I'm trying to say. I have never run into someone like that before.
I think you are by far the best inker we have in our entire group.
Yeah, I just found it funny because I was like, I've never run into somebody like that audacious in terms of, other than like my art school teachers. It's been a really long time since I've heard someone like that.
What happens, I believe, a lot is you end up with people who have been burned a couple of times.
Yeah.
And they get burned by people doing, they go in and they get their stuff. Oh, come on. Why is appraised stuck in my head? Not appraised, critiqued.
Yeah.
You get your stuff critiqued, and the teachers are like, you're just, average and you're not very good. You need to do this, you need to do that, yada, yada, yada. And that makes them embittered. And then they all of a sudden feel like they need to go to other people and say, you're just average.
And that's the crazy part. Like their art, like at the moment, like does actually look nice. But now I'm like, are they actually drawing their own art? I think they are.
Yep.
But like, hi Michael, what's up? Anyway, yeah, I think it's
real quickly and get more ice. I'll be right back.
Like when I told them, sorry. Yeah, when I told them that I don't really want to do like the Loomis method, they were like, "Oh, well, don't you want to get better?" And like they couldn't comprehend the fact that like my goal isn't to be famous; it's just to get better at what I do. That was really interesting. Trying to like, they're like, "Well, you don't want to be famous, you don't want to get popular," and I'm like, "No, not really." I just want to get good at what I do. Hi, Michael. What's up? How you doing? Right? Yeah, I just found it really funny. Like, because I've heard of those people. Like, I've heard of those people. But, like, I've never actually, like, run into one of them before. So that was, like, my first encounter with, like, one of those people. And I was like, are you really saying this right now? Let's see. Let's see. It sounds like outside of them being rude about it, they were prioritizing finishing and polished. There's mentioning the skill of well, they weren't. They were actually critiquing my finished pages. So I'll go ahead and show you some of them just so that you can like see what my pages look like. They were critiquing / criticizing like my finished work. Which I mean, like, I don't care that they do that. Like, it is what it is. Like, people are gonna people, right? You're not gonna run into, like, not everyone's gonna like your stuff. And I want feedback. Like, I wouldn't have, like, gone to frickin' Viz Media and asked for feedback if I didn't want honest feedback. And they gave me honest feedback, which I appreciated. It's like, I'm fine with getting feedback. I was just, like, shocked at, like, the audacity. It'll just be like, your art looks like you've only been drawing for 3 years, and you're only average. Which is funny, because that's not what Viz told me. So, like Viz, like, literally the editor at Viz said, your work looks, quote, near professional. That's what they said. I'm pretty sure near professional is not average. And who knows, maybe it is average, I don't know. I don't really care. Because I'm just here to enjoy what I do. I'm not here to, like, kiss anyone's butt or anything. I'm just trying to love what I do. I'm here to have fun, man. I'm not here to impress people. If I, like, ever got published, that would be, like, a bonus to me, but I'm not, like, hardcore, oh, I have to be published or my life's a failure. I'm not one of those people at all. So, let's see. Hard proof of my comic is coming in from the printer with the weird printing side. Oh, okay, yeah, you'll have definitely let us know how that goes. What printer did you use? Was it like, because I know like Comics Will Spring can do some odd sizes. Like, what printer did you use? I'm curious. So like, this is my work. So like, I mean, I can see what they meant by proportions. Because, like, the proportions here are off compared to, like, you know, like, what an actual, like, character is. But also, it's not meant to be realistic either. It's obviously very stylized. But, you know, like, I agree, proportions could be better here. Legs are a little too short. Yep, I can agree with that. Same thing, like, if you compare the proportions of, like, this character to the proportions of, like, this character here, like, I can definitely see, like, Comics Will Spring, yeah. I can definitely see, like that. So, yeah, so I felt like the feedback there was valid. And, like, when I asked them to, like, clarify on that, they just, like, started criticizing that, like, my art is not good. And I'm like, that's, like, they're just like, go study Loomis. I'm like, okay, like, what about my art needs to be, like, what about my art, like, is not, like, good proportions? And they would just started, like, go study. And I'm like, well, this isn't good feedback, bro. So, like, yeah, I can see what they mean by, like, proportions and stuff. I thought that was, like, valid feedback, so. Yeah, I have a lot of things I need to fix. One of the other things I need to fix is, like, consistency with my characters' faces. Like, you know, so, like, Aros here, you know, it doesn't really have the same expressions as the, like, this, like, the character consistency, but also this is, like, the first couple pages. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to be consistent within the first couple pages.
Yeah, so. I'm going to agree with Tessa on this one, too.
New professional means consistency. You could easily give it more skill. You could easily go under your belt and do things like cleaning up sketches or find, like, yeah. So, like, the pages that I showed them were from here. So I'm close. It's just, like, that, like, fine-tuning that you need. The other feedback that Viz gave me was to get, if I want to get in on the originals, to get rid of the Japanese sound effects, which is Good. Yep, that's fine. No big deal. I only added it because I planned on being doujinshi. Like, I didn't go into like my Viz portfolio review like expecting to like get a business card and be told to follow up. That was not the result that I was expecting. I need to do like my own video / live stream about my experience. I haven't done that yet. But I was not expecting to like be told to follow up. I literally, I'm gonna be completely honest here, and Viz, if you ever see this, I apologize to you profusely. I'm very sorry, I didn't take you seriously. I went to this portfolio review like expecting to get like a genuine portfolio review. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all I have to do is just delete the Japanese ones and then like just redraw them with like the English ones to make the English ones more prominent. Everything is on its own layer, dude. Queenie, I am one of those people I'm ashamed to admit that one page, not a spread, one page is easily like 100 layers. I am that person. I feel bad for the assistants that ever end up having to work with me. Of course, by then I would hope that I have cleaned up how I do my page management, but I am that person. Because I like being able to easily edit my stuff. And so, like, each character has their own line art. And, like, when you have 3 characters in a panel, that adds up. Every character has their own line art. Every character has their own white fill. Every character has their own flats. Every character has, like, the background may have multiple layers. Foreground, background, midground. Like, it adds up. You have multiple panels. So... that's how I manage my stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I just thought it was funny that they said that. Like I said, I've heard of those people, like the randos on the internet, but I've never ran into one personally. It was like, wow, this is a real thing. So like I tried to be as polite as I could, and was like, hey, like thanks for your feedback. If you ever have any more feedback, like come let me know. But at one point I did get frustrated where I was like, dude, you're being incredibly rude assuming shit.
Right.
Even I, in all my infinite patience, and it's not infinite, some of you know it's not infinite, in my infinite public level, service level patience, even I run out of patience.
Yes, I agree with you on that one. The biggest problem I have is that I don't
yeah,
my layers and stuff like that. But I also have no one else with me. There's nobody taking over my artwork after this. So,
do you see my current layers? Layer 8, layer 7, layer 10 copy, layer 1, layer 5, right. Layer 1 copy 3. I am the literal definition of chaos when it comes to my layers. Now what was funny is when I won a top 10 slot for Manga Plus and they asked for my original files, I spent like forever.
I am not
going. Huh?
I'm not. Professionally, I go by G.S. Davis because of that very thing.
Oh, I was wondering. I'm like, is this the situation you talk about, guy?
It's the situation I always talk about. And it's always kind of sad because I'm like, they're like,
no.
Oh, it's Guy Davis. You wrote blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, I didn't write blah blah blah. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, thanks.
Guy, the response was, oh, I see.
No, you're fine, Michael.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No worries. Like, I honestly kind of have a similar issue. So, like, just recently I changed my preferred name over to Jackson. But the given name I've gone by for a really long time was Kat. And when I would introduce myself as Kat Jackson, they would go, "Oh my gosh, you like Kat Von D of you like the tattoo artist?" I'm like, I have 3 tattoos. And I'm short and blonde and I'm nice and not a butthole. Do I look like Kat Von D? No? Okay, then no! I'm not Kat Von D.
No, and Michael, don't worry about it. I went to meet Ron Fortier. The first time I met Ron Fortier was a comics writer who wrote Green Hornet, and he wrote a lot of the Terminators and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And he's retired now, and he retired up to Fort Collins here in Colorado. And a friend of mine took me to this monthly meeting he has where he gets
the
to
coffee
talk with all
cruise.
these artists and everything.
Mhm.
And he said, "This is my friend Guy Davis." And Ron stood up and said, "I have read your work. You do excellent work." And I went, "Uh-oh."
No.
Because I'm like, no.
No, I have to tell Ron Fortier. I'm not that guy.
I'm like,
Aww.
I'm pretty sure you've never read my work. Because at that time, all the work I'd ever done was Star Trek fan comics. And so here I am talking to a guy who literally wrote scripts for Alex Ross. Wrote scripts for Alex Ross. And like this is a big deal in the field, was Silver Age comics and stuff like that. Anyway. And so now of course we're buddies, we're friends. He knows exactly who I am. And
yeah,
generally speaking, when I go out onto the internet, I go as G.S. Davis for that very reason. Also, it hides my gender so that I don't, nobody just presumes things, because I tend to write female strong stories. And people impose weird things on me.
Same.
It's one of those weird things. My mom is my hero. She suffered through glass ceiling the 80s with the glass ceiling, and she really struggled hard. And so my stories are always female strong. And I seem to, when they find out I'm male, they tend to do so do you just like to draw cute women? And I'm like, see, now you just took all the power out of what I was doing. Like, you just walked all the power out of what I was doing. Like, thanks for minimizing it. Right? So
Oof.
I just stay, and usually when I use my avatar, I usually use Chang as my avatar, so people can't tell.
That's why I use Arus as my avatar.
Right.
I mean, because that way people don't know. And I have the exact opposite problem, guy, because I do seinen. Like, people assume that I'm male. And I find, like, I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all, like, when I'm in Discord servers, like, even when I use I've purposely experimented with this. When I go into a new server and I have a neutral avatar, people naturally assume that I'm male.
Right.
And it's kind of frustrating that, like, they see, like, you make manga and it's like a supernatural manga and it's a seinen manga, and, like, they assume you're a man. Like, and so I just let it go. It go, and I'm that's one of those okay, let's see how long it takes y'all to figure it out.
I've been on game servers, and when the girl gets on the game servers, the guys change the way that they act. So you're better off.
That's why I don't play games.
You are much better off.
That's why I don't play games online, is because my voice would give me away. And I'm like, yep, my voice would totally give me away. Even though I'm non-binary, like, my voice would totally give me away.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Yeah, I did. It's we stream, so Quack streams pretty much every night. We actually have a schedule. Let's see. I mean,
are you gonna try to click the button?
Right.
Are you going to click the button?
Where's the button?
So you click over there where it says design on the right side.
Oh,
and then
that's
it's the one that looks like a bunch of rainbows over there.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so show.
Right.
Okay.
So on the top there,
right,
that's our morning stream. And on the bottom there is our night stream. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I don't like PvP anymore anyway because I'm old. And I've been playing PvP since Quake. And so I'm like, I'm over PvP now. But I mean, still, I've been in chat rooms with people who are gaming, and as soon as my female friends get in there, it's just infuriating. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
I mean,
awful.
like, and the thing that gets me is some of my friends, female friends, are like devastatingly good. Like, and so it's like they should earn that respect. They'll kick my butt. Like, I mean, and I've been playing PvP since the 90s. So I mean, like, I've got some chops. I just hate it now. But it's still, it's like, and if these people are beating me, that's fair. Yeah, our night streams are great. The only thing is, you should know that we don't do a night stream on Friday night or Saturday night, and it's because those are the nights when we go out and play with our friends, and so
Yep. And rest and go do other things.
I do a morning stream on Friday, and then I don't do a morning stream on Saturday or Sunday, obviously, because then you're out with your friends, So it's a week.
And if
so to
you
speak.
if you miss a stream, Michael, I keep the VODs. Usually what I'll do is I'll go in after the fact and I'll add the dates of the stream, so that way, and they're marked as morning and evening streams. They have different thumbnails. I admittedly need to go update the last few. I was off from Wednesday until Monday, and so I was really lazy and just like wasn't updating things. So I need to go back and go update a few streams. Because I genuinely tried to take time off from YouTube, from social media, from my job, from drawing. Like, I tried to genuinely take at least a couple days off and get some rest. So, but if you miss a stream, it'll be available. But all of us, we create comics. Let me actually bring that one up here. So we all have different comics that we create. Guy here creates Bellatrix Rising.
I'm converting a Tamerlane story right now, which is my previous comic.
Kayan, who's not here, he actually works a job now that doesn't really align well with the hours that we stream. So he's not here as often, but he sometimes pops by in the morning if he has time. He works on Armageddon Divinity. I work on Godsbane. And then Rafe will be here kind of every once in a while. He does a whole bunch of different stuff. And then Pepper is usually here sometimes in the mornings along with Brent.
Along with Brent.
All kinds of good stuff here.
Brent, who just keeps doing it, man. Just keeps hanging out.
Brent? Well, Brent's busy. Brent does all kinds of stuff. How do you describe Brent?
Right?
Always busy, always doing something. I have no idea how Brent does everything.
Uh-huh. Are you still keeping in touch with Viz?
Me? I messaged them, I followed up with them, and they haven't responded to me. It's been a week. I wanted to at least give them... I'm not sure what the appropriate wait time is to follow up after I send the initial email. Because they asked me to follow up, so I'm not sure if a week is an appropriate wait time. But I did follow up initially.
Oh.
So I'm waiting to see should I follow up again? Yeah, and I mean, Julia's an editor. Editors are crazy busy. So I wouldn't be surprised if it Sorry, I was drawing and then all of a sudden my brain just started talking and now I suddenly forgot how to draw things.
Right?
I suddenly forgot how to draw. I get my brain working
Number
again.
of pages are not allowed to be reduced. What happens if I botch it?
Huh? What number of pages not allowed to be reduced?
So
just delete pages.
I added these pages.
Okay.
And it did not do them in template mode. It did not do them in a 2-page spread. It added them willy-nilly. So they're just these single pages.
You should be able to just right-click delete. After you select them, you should be able to just right-click delete.
Okay.
And you might be able to click a couple of them. I'm not sure because you've got an odd... Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You can't undo this. Jump. That's perfect.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yes. Got you.
That's perfect. You're an awesome person. You helped me lots, Lee. Because I was about to get very sad.
No,
Then
Clip Studio
I
is just
need to
goofy
add, like-
sometimes.
I need to add 8 pages. So I need it to be... Okay, now why isn't it doing this in the template mode? Is it always going to be in whatever mode's my new...
Yeah, well, if you add new pages, it'll automatically make the pages in whatever template whatever format you already have for your pages. Are you trying to make a new comic document?
No, so I'm running out of room over here. Oh, is your manga to be read left to right or right to left?
My manga's read right to left.
So I have a template that I use for all of these that puts in my blue line and puts in an automatic thing for this.
Oh, I have an answer. Duplicate. So add one duplicate page. No, but just only add one.
There we
see
go.
what it does. Okay. And you want your pages separate or combined?
Combined.
Okay, so hit OK, and then right click on the page you have right there. So that's already selected. Combine pages, and then do not align. So make sure that's checked off. Do not align.
Off. Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll align at the trim.
Oh, delete empty layer.
And we don't want that. We want the nodal area. So
it just vanished. That's nice.
It's just thinking about it. It does that for me too.
So
now you can just duplicate that one over and over again, and you'll just however many you need.
Perfect. You are awesome.
Yeah. If I would have known that's what you were going to do, I would have just told you to combine all the pages you already had. I didn't realize you... So, you could have just combined them initially. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, these are all combined normally.
Oh.
I actually like
Let me get a link for you, Michael. I'll get a link for you. I think
actually,
if you're on my stream, so there should be a link in the bio, but if not, I'll grab it for you really quick. Oh, that's right, it's not. It's the default. I need to add that into the default. I'll change that after we stop streaming. Because if I change it now, it'll make a brand new stream. If I try to edit the stuff now. It's really silly. I'll grab a link for you really quick.
Yeah, I'll put mine up there too.
Alright, so there's your God's main link. So Queenie-chan's the real professional here, though.
But, there we go. There's Bellatrix Rising. Queen-chan's the professional. Cool.
Queenie-chan is a professional. A true professional. I will not accept you saying otherwise, Queenie-chan.
No, I mean, I'm just kind of... It's the Chan. I'm like, okay, I accept that. It's the diminutive.
Can I tell them what book you did, Queenie-chan? I always try to respect, because I know some people like their privacy, so I try to be respectful.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So Queenie-chan, was
your last name is Chan, which is not a diminutive.
Right? Isn't that interesting? So, so Queenie-chan did The Dreaming, which was published by Tokyopop.
Nice.
Right?
Congratulations.
And you're working on it again, and it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait till like the new books come out. So, because I need to like repurchase it anyway. So
Excellent.
It'll be a good opportunity for me just to like rebuy the book. Oh my goodness, I bet.
Yeah, I'll betcha. That's like I said, it's a diminutive because I speak Japanese. My Chinese is really, really rough. So not a lot I can do there. But Japanese is my second language, so It's like all of us humans, we all do the same thing. We've got like our native language and then everything else. And everything else just pools into this bucket somewhere. And you're just like, great. Like, because everything to me defaults to Japanese. It doesn't matter what language it is. I'll try to translate French into Japanese in my head. Because I don't speak French. So since I don't speak French, it must obviously, my brain thinks, must obviously be Japanese.
And then there's people like me who don't speak Japanese very well. And it's just it's like my brain tries to mix Spanish and Japanese all the time. So when I'm trying to speak Japanese, my brain goes, "It's time for Spanish." Like,
your new publisher managed to pull it away. That's pretty cool, actually. Trying to get the rights back from Tokyo Pop, huh?
Right. Wow. Yeah, I bet. Wow. They're still working with like releasing more rights and stuff, so that's good. I'm glad you were able to like get your rights back.
Right?
That's a battle.
I was gonna say, I think I'm kind of more impressed with that.
I think it's more just red tape, if I understand correctly. It's just untangling everything, I think.
But I mean, it's like we always, I mean, that's one of the things that we as artists always suffer with, right? We work really, really hard, and then people pay us a cookie, and then they end up making millions of dollars off of our art. And we're like, how is it that we're starving on the streets? You know? So just winning that victory, respect, lots of respect.
Oh, I just added a Japanese sound effect, and we're not doing Japanese sound effects anymore. I can't do the Gene sound effect. Oh, it doesn't exist in English.
What are you talking about? Well, for what?
The deer, it you know, like how deers will like turn and they'll listen. And I was gonna do Gene behind it.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, but that's not Gene though. It's not the same.
If you translate it into English, that's what the sound effect is.
Maybe I'll just do like a meep. I don't know. I'll figure something out.
It's like kita. I mean, it's like there are things that just don't translate, right? We don't do the gleaming of the teeth. You know, it doesn't make a noise. I've
heard like stare can be like an alternative.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the side story and sequel.
If the deer is perking up, it's an exclamation point. It's alerted, right? So it's like alert. It's looking at you. That's an exclamation point. So you can put an exclamation point. That'll work.
Yeah.
Right? Go for a side story. That's actually what I'm doing right here. Why? Because issues 2 and 3 are still being worked on with my editors. Oh, my dear friend, my dear friend. I started drawing comics in 1992. This is the first actual legit comic that I've ever managed to finish. And it's all because I've now finally gone to therapy long enough to finally put attention deficit disorder under control. Because that has been just killing me off. Only 5 though, that's pretty serious. You've been out there for a while. Out there for a year or 2.
I've been drawing manga for 4 years.
No, apparently it's only 3 years, remember? We just talked about this.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, you caught me.
It's only 3 years.
I've only been drawing for 3 years. It's going to be like my inside joke now. It's like anyone who knows that story.
It is. And I think kind of, I mean, I don't, my mom was one of those people who, you know, crystals and, you know, your future is what you make of it and sort of thing. But there is a certain amount I feel I feel very much like there's a certain amount of this that is like there was a right time and there was a wrong time. Looking at my stories that I was writing in the 90s, they would have been kind of vapid. They would have been kind of empty. This is a very deep and like I'm doing the right stuff. So I think I think personally, even though I'm a little sad that I started at 50, or 45, I guess really is when I started doing this when I was 45. The truth is, I feel like this is a much richer story, and so I don't begrudge myself not having done this earlier. You know, I'm not necessarily one of those I believe everything happens for a reason sort of people, but on the same token, I do kind of think that this turned out better. This is a much richer story. So, yeah. Agreed. I think I'm finally ready to, put stories out, get them out on the streets, make people read them, get my 3 fans. I need my 3 fans, man. Just saying.
I just laughed when you said make people read them. I just pictured you like grabbing people
with
and shoving it in their face.
with those things from what was that? Soylent Green? No, not Soylent Green. I just lost it.
Oh my gosh, there are so many people in these Discord servers that are like, I'm gonna be the next Oda! My first story is the best! I'm such a good writer! Oh, cool, like, how old are you? I'm 18 or 17! I'm still in high school! And I'm like,
could you do this? Plausibly, could it happen? Yeah. Maybe. It's not like it's a given that if you're 18, you're not going to do well. It's just that we all think we're awesome at 18. And that's part of the problem.
I think an additional part of it is they see all these mangaka like getting published like at younger ages, and so they think that like they're going to be the same way. And it's like, look, those mangaka have advantages naturally that you don't. Like they live in a place where they can become assistants at a young age and study on the job. You do not have that like luxury, and it is a luxury. I'm gonna be completely honest. They live in a place that actually has manga schools, like like they naturally have certain advantages that we don't. Plus, they speak the language needed. Like they have advantages that we don't, and it's a lot harder for us. Like at least as Americans or even Europeans, as anyone outside Japan, if you don't have access to the language, the culture, the jobs, like if you don't have access to those things, it's going to take you longer to get your career started. And these people are like, oh, I'm 23 and I haven't made it, so I'm just going to give up. And I'm like, bruh. Bro, you're 23. You're a baby. You're good. Keep going. Really? Oh my goodness. I don't know if it's the culture online today, but everyone is like, I feel like we have almost the opposite problem now, where everyone's like, and I'm also guilty of this. Oh, it's not that good. Like it's okay. Like we don't say, oh, it's amazing, it's great. Right? Yeah, exactly. To get a 7 out of 10. That's actually what I got according to Manga Plus, a 7 out of 10. So I'm just sitting here enjoying it, man. I'm like, hey, if it gets somewhere, cool. If it doesn't, I got the manga done. I'm satisfied. I can die happy. So that's all I care about. I just like talking to people, as you guys can clearly see. That's why my job is community management, because I like talking to people.
You ate healthy, you're just going to make yourself sick.
Yeah, you're going to get stomach ache eating that much sugar that fast. Yeah, everyone wants to play it cool and not come off as like, I'm not like other girls. I write better manga than you.
Everybody, that's the thing I think I had to learn was it's not better, it's different. Everybody's different.
Different, yeah.
They have different voices.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking here. This is a Tamerlan, and I'm just looking at this, and I'm like, I've forgotten that this is one of the voices of Bennett. This character moved directly over. This character became Mirel. This character still just called Angie Bennett. She was called before, and she's still called that. Like, but we all have different voices.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of feel like my art has never been stellar, but my storytelling is what I'm hoping people are visiting on. You know what I mean? Like coming back for. They're coming back for the storytelling. What in the world is going on in this entire folder? Everything doesn't even make sense. Like I've got this like junk folder, and I'm trying to figure out what the junk folder has in it.
It's a beautifully drawn deer, you guys.
It is a lovely deer. We love the deer.
Look at this deer. He's like, Quackanai!
Old deer.
I think for me, like, I never intended to be a mangaka. I never intended to make stories. I never intended to be doing any of this. Like I was gonna be doing animal conservation, and then TB happened, and so then I was like, oh, I have to do something else with my life because literally the top 5 choices in my life are now not available to me. F that. Which is funny because guess what? The science was my plan B. My plan A, which I haven't said to a lot of people, was music. I was gonna go into music, but that ended up not working out for various reasons. Like, I was a high-level piccolo player, like honors bands, being invited to tour in Europe. Like, that was what I did. I was a piccolo player, right? Like our district had like 10 different schools in it, and I was always the piccolo player in honors band. Like, and you only get 1 piccolo in a band. So like, that was what I did. And for reasons, I just decided not to do it. And then like when I decided not to do that. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to go into science instead. And then that didn't happen. So I'm like, oh, life, you're so funny. I decided to go with something else and you still screwed me over. Yeah, piccolo player. That's what I did. Like, I was doing like AA and AAA solos and like getting really good scores, like 1s and 2s on double and AAA solos, which is not easy. So like that was what I did. That was what I was just naturally good at. Like, that's just what I was naturally good at. Band was my thing. I played like 7 different instruments in high school. Like, band and music was my thing, and that was how I learned storytelling, was through music. My band director would like, can I still play it? Ooh, I could if I tried. Probably it would probably take time to come back, but I don't even have a piccolo anymore. I donated it to my school, and the girl that I trained ended up having my piccolo after I was done. So because I like trained a new piccolo player to play after I left. Because piccolo, when I became the piccolo player at my school, they hadn't had one for 7 years. It's a really hard instrument to play because you have to be able to hear the tone naturally. And the way you tune a flute and a piccolo is by taking that headpiece. The proper way to tune it is to move the headpiece in and out to basically adjust the length of the flute or piccolo. But when you're mid-concert, you can't do that. Yep. So the way that you tune a flute or piccolo while you're playing is by simply rotating how much air goes in or like above basically the hole out of your mouth, whatever. Like, yeah,
I mean, I play flute, and that's the same thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like the thing about flute is that once you start, if you tune it in, but then of course temperature starts to affect it, and to change its tone, and you have to change your embouchure to try to get it correct inside the stupid thing.
Oh my god, like playing piccolo in marching band in Ohio was one of the worst experiences of my life, because outside in Ohio in the wintertime, it gets pretty cold, right? Well, guess what? Your piccolo is made of, well, my piccolo was made of metal, which the better ones are made of wood because they're more stable, like temperature-wise, so they don't change as much. But with metal, the temperature of the air inside the piccolo affects the sound that comes out. And so you have to be able to adjust on the dime. You have to be able to listen really closely to be able to adjust that tone to stay in tune. So it's a very, very like hard thing to do. And usually for every
you should write a manga.
I should, yeah. For every like 100 like normal band players, you usually only have one piccolo player, unless a score calls for more than one.
Right.
And typically, good.
I was just gonna say that's an interesting part about this is the piccolo and the flute. Well, and I just wanted to just go with Queenie Shan's statement there, which is because everybody knows what Rule 34 is. I've decided that Rule 35 is if it exists, there's a manga.
If it exists, there's a I'm sure there's a manga out there somewhere.
Like totally, I have and fascinating manga. There's not only a manga, there's an anime now for Kyoto called Tsurune.
I want to watch it.
Yeah, Tsurune. Tsurune is the sound, the sound effect of releasing the bow, and the string makes that noise. So like it makes a noise that if you do it perfect, if you do the shot correctly, then you get just the perfect strum off of the bowstring, and that's Tsurune. So.
You could actually do battle piccolos. So one of the things that they do is in band, you have chairs. And so chair just is basically like your ranking, first place, second place, third place, whatever. Usually the first chair flute gets to be the person to choose if they want to do piccolo or not. And then usually the way that it works is if the person in first chair says no, then the person in second chair, person in third chair, person in fourth chair, it goes down the line.
Right.
In my band that I was in, none of them wanted to play piccolo. And so I kind of ended up getting it by default, but we really quickly found out I was really good at it. So it was kind of an accident that I ended up playing piccolo just because I was the first one that really wanted to like go with it and then stuck with it. And then anytime there was a challenge, so you could do every quarter you could do what's called a challenge. And what that was is if someone else wanted the role, with it being piccolo, like you could either challenge someone to be in a higher chair or you could challenge someone to play an instrument. And in my case, piccolo, other people could then challenge me to have the piccolo spot. And remember, you can only have one. So it was a big deal anytime I got challenged. I beat every challenger for 7 years. No one took my piccolo spot. And what they do for challenges is they do what's called a blind challenge, which what they do is they have to set it up so that you can't see who's playing. You genuinely just have to listen to who's playing, and you have to judge, like everyone will judge. Yeah. Oh man. So like, yeah, you basically judge that way. And the better piccolo player would win. There was one particular person who would challenge me, and when you're a piccolo player, you cannot be shy.
Right.
You have to be okay playing by yourself. That's just how it is. And piccolo by itself does not sound very nice necessarily. It doesn't necessarily sound very pretty. So like this person you could tell was not used to playing by themselves, and you could hear them shaking. So like props to them. But yeah, like, oh god, yeah, there's so much drama in bands. There's so much you could make. That's why there's probably so many. That's why there's a lot of manga about music in band, just because it's full of drama. And that was actually why I stopped band so I moved to a brand new school my senior year, and when we did the tryouts, in the blind tryout, I won. I beat the new school's piccolo player in a blind tryout. But their piccolo player, it was their second year, by the way, my 7th, and I beat them in the blind tryouts. They gave their piccolo player the higher level band. And I got the second band, the average band. And then, not only that, they put me in second chair so that the person in first chair got the piccolo position. And when I asked them why they did that, they said, oh, well, you have a nickel piccolo, not a wooden one. I'm like, guys, think about it. If I beat this person with a crappy piccolo, then clearly I'm the better player. But I got my revenge. And I hate saying this, like, this to me was my life. So I was bitter back then. Like to me, I would look back at myself and say, wow, you're such a butthole. But like, they just so had the very last song I played with my band happened to be the song that they played in the high level band played in their spring concert. So I knew that song inside and out, and it has a piccolo solo. So I knew this song. Like, I practiced it for piccolo solo. So I'd practiced it for like 6 months. It was Undertow by John Mackey, by the way, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. I practiced it regularly, and I can still read the sheet music and like practice. I can't play because I'm in a small apartment, but I can like pretend like I'm playing along. And when that piccolo solo came up in the spring concert, silence. And I went, oh my god, they didn't even play anything. So I was just sitting there, and I was such a butthole. I was sitting there in my seat watching the concert, and like my best friend was like, Kat, don't say anything. I'm like, I don't have to. I'm enjoying the silence. I was such a butthole. I was like, I have never wished downfall on anybody, but I was like, dude, I'm a senior. This was supposed to be like my final year, like my big concert that I've been waiting all my like high school career for, and I got put in the middle grade band. And I was like, dude, if this is the cattiness and drama that I would have to deal with as a musician, I don't want to be a musician for a career. And that's why I quit music.
And thus, you quit music.
I quit music. Yep. I quit, and I never after my final concert there, I never picked up a piccolo again. I've never picked it up. Nope, never picked it up since.
It always kind of makes me sad when we, you find somebody who had a thing and some stupid dumb thing occurred in school that made you just no longer do it anymore. Yeah.
That's my piccolo story, and I'm sticking to it.
And you're just like, I'm never going to do it again. Whatever it was, I'm never going to do it again.
Yeah.
That's just so sad.
And like, what's sad is the assistant director tried to speak up for me. Like, he genuinely tried to fight for me to get my spot. And like, the head director was just a butthole. I'm still angry at him. I'm like maybe if you had given me my spot, like maybe I'd be a different person. But if that had never happened, then I would never have like gotten into manga. So like it's good that it happened. So that's why I tried to not like stress about it. And it like learning about like my previous like my primary director, the one that I actually learned music with, taught me how to tell stories with music. And that was what got me interested in even telling stories in the first place.
Telling stories, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I learned storytelling through music, not through reading books, because I wasn't super into like reading manga or watching like anime or movies at that time. I hadn't hit my weeb phase yet. I hit that in my last year of high school. So like I wasn't there yet. And after that, then I started studying animation. And then I really learned more about storytelling. So I came into animation from a music perspective, and then I went into comics from an animation perspective. So right. I just have a completely different thought process on storytelling, and maybe that'll be an advantage.
Plausibly.
Sorry, guy. I went over a lot because I was telling a story. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm actually kind of like losing coherency over here.
Me too, actually. I stopped drawing a while ago.
Out here, I'm like falling asleep.
But see, look, I was able to tell a captivating story.
It was a good story. I stayed for the story.
Yay!
But I'm tired, so I'm going to go. Right now, you have to avenge your father's death.
So here's what I worked on.
Drama.
Drama llama.
Am I dropping water on you, George? It's because you're close. Just saying. Turn it into a story, a manga story. Okay, well, it was wonderful having you guys here, Queen-chan, little Mongo, I can't say it, Mongo art. Boy, having a rough time with that one.
Mongo.
Because I'm like, and Alpi was here for like a 30th of a second, as usual, but then ate 25 lollipops because it's a thing. And so that was kind of cool too. And we had Michael here for a little bit too. I don't know where Michael went. There we are. There is Michael. So,
Hi, Michael.
Yep, was here. And Tessa was here. And yeah, it's for some reason I couldn't, because we've been saying manga so much. I just couldn't. I couldn't get out of it. I just couldn't get out of it. I was stuck on manga and I just could not shake it. It was so weird. So, that's the thing. That's right. We got this. We got this. And then we, of course, earlier we had Onyx Tobines here with part of the raid that came in with Merrick, who was alerting us of said raid. Thank you very much. And then that's pretty much who we've had on the show today. We've had a couple of artists. But hey, I hope you guys show up again. Like I said, we're here every night about the same time. I'll do one more time with the times here. The row on top up there, that top row is the day show. And then the bottom row there is the night show. So you can join us at any time around the world about that time, and we'll be here. And thank you very much for joining me tonight, Jackson. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And I will go on ahead and hit the out button.
I gotta go to sleep because I gotta work.
Go to sleep. You gotta get up in the morning and go to work. Good night, everybody. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.
Good night.